This podcast has mature language, not intended for underage viewers. Hello, this is Keenan of Street Cred Sports Training, and welcome to another episode of Time to Ball. This is episode 6. I guess I should say this is probably the Thanksgiving version because Thanksgiving is around the corner. Well, it's about to happen. So I hope everybody is always doing good. I'm doing well. I've really started to feel like I've hit a grind, not a grind, but I've hit my stride with doing these podcasts again. I miss doing them when I was doing them because at some point you get comfortable with them, you know, and you're able to just talk and feel that nothing feels rushed or bad. So I hope you guys are enjoying this content. I've enjoyed it. I can't wait for some of the other stuff. Keynote should be having our first guest here in the next episode or two, so really look out for that. So this is for all of my people, this one right here. So let me break it down a little bit. Things that have been on my mind, things that I like to talk about. Well, let me start out with this. I was doing a shooting session with one of my kids recently, one of my high school girls. And, you know, I was asking her because I always try to figure out, like, you know, what the other schools have, because I'm always interested in knowing, you know, what the purpose is when they're coming over here for us. So she wanted to get shots up. So I just happened to ask, like, hey, you guys don't have a shooting machine, you know, at your school? And her response was, well, yeah, we do, but we're not allowed to use it. So as she's saying it, I'm trying to, you know, walk over to hook the machine up, and I stopped and I was like, huh? Like, well, what do you mean you're not allowed to use it? Are you guys on punishment or something? And she said, no, it's for the boys, team. So for the high school, at this high school, the boys team, they have a shooting machine, but the girls aren't allowed to use it. I just really was like, now, I was confused, but then it clicked. I've had throughout the last, 5 to 10 years, I've had several students tell me this same thing at different schools, not at the same school, at different schools throughout the city. Oh yeah, no, we have one, but, we don't allow anybody else to use. Now, it's been happening on girls. There are some schools, I think, where the girls have a shooting machine or a machine, Vertimax or whatever it is, but the boys' side they're not able to use them. And it's baffling to me because I'm like this. Y'all should be sharing the equipment, right? You know, that's it should be building the culture. If she wants to come in and shoot after practice, why can't she come in and shoot for 10 or 15 minutes? Why are you guys holding, keeping that young lady or that young man from trying to get shots in? That's a vital and important part of any organization is putting in the time and effort. That was crazy. And as I've talked, to people here and there, it happens. It happens more than what I even know. I didn't think that it happened as much in other places as it does, but it actually does. So my question would be, why? I mean, was there some type of disclaimer? When the organization, when the boys got it, like, hey, you know what, we're going to donate this shooting machine, or we're going to put the money together and we're going to buy it. And, you can use it as long as you don't let the girls use it, or as long as you don't let the boys use it. It doesn't sound right. You should be sharing it right now. If there's a conflict between coaches, I can't understand if there would be an issue between a head coach of the boys and a head coach of the girls, because they're the leaders of that organization. Everybody's looking at them, so you can't have them bickering. And I don't know of a situation where that happens. So if there's no bickering between the head coach on the boys and head coach on the girls, then why isn't it allowed? If a person donates it and say, hey, well, I'm donating this machine, but I'm donating it to the girls program so the boys can't use it. I mean, maybe as a coach, I might say, well, if we really appreciate that, but if that's how you feel, we're going to pass on that because we want all of our kids to be able to utilize those things. Okay. Now, I'm still trying to understand the situation where a shooting machine wouldn't be beneficial. A Vertimax machine wouldn't be beneficial. All of these type of aids, all this technology out there. Look, when I have kids there in a 30-minute workout, 30-minute shooting machine workout, I can get you a minimum of 350 to 400 shots, a minimum. Okay, and that's depending on how fast I want to shoot it. If you're more advanced, obviously, if you're not as advanced, I can't do the speed with which I need to because, then it's a little bit too fast for you. So you can get at least 250 shots up in 30 minutes with me, right? So that's 30 minutes. So you don't have to have that many shots. You can say, hey, you know what? We're going to let you shoot for 10, 15 minutes and then go. Now, I was just watching. I don't know if you guys paid attention, but there was this big deal with Giannis after they played the Sixers the other night. Giannis has this routine, especially when he has a bad night. He goes out and shoots free throws. Okay, so he's going to shoot free throws, and Montrezl Harrell for the Sixers had an issue with it, and was trying to get him off the court. And Giannis, was like, no, I'm shooting my free throws. And at this time, they were putting up the ladder because the maintenance crew was getting ready to, take the goals down. And Giannis got mad and tried to move him out the way and pushed the ladder, and the ladder fell down. So it was all of this, stuff going on. Now, am I the type that is going to be like, well, hey, y'all need to be nice? I mean, it's competitive. So they're going to do what they're going to do. But when you involve, maintenance staff, people that aren't playing, and you throw a ladder, it's not a good look, right? Because as an organization, you should be competitive, but you should also be, understanding that there are going to be kids out there looking at that. So now some kid might go and play on the team, and he wants to shoot free throws at like Giannis after the game if he has a bad game. And if somebody's saying, hey, you can't be on the court, is he going to act out like that? So organizations, have to set the tone for those type of things. So whether it's the pros, whether it's college, whether it's high school, whether it's AAU team, whether it's city league team, whatever organization has to set the tone that this is how we do things. So for all of you, high school coaches out there that have programs, if you have kids that are trying to get in the gym and work on their game, let them work. It shouldn't cost you no more than 10 to 15 minutes. Now, some kids might be extreme. I have some kids that love to work, so they'll try to stay a lot longer than what, we're required, what we have for that workout or that training. But I mean, you can set, I'll let you shoot by 15, 20 minutes or what have you. Let them get their shots up and you go on. But when you have this divided type of atmosphere, it doesn't help the organization. The organization needs to be one. Y'all need to be, same type of movement. Like what was it? Drake say we move. How did he say it? We move the same way, but we have different shoes. Damn, I'm just messing that song up. I'm glad I'm not rapping today. But in any case, he made a statement like, you all are walking the same path in different shoes. I think that was the line. You walk in the same path, but in different shoes, but you're walking the same path. Everybody has to be together. The girls need to, help out the boys and vice versa. The coaches need to help each other out, and because it's one program. It's one program. And the more you show that camaraderie, the more you set that culture, then when the younger kids, 8th graders coming in up to the school, they already know how that culture is. But this division, we got enough of that going on in our country as it is. And I'm not getting all off into that, but I'll just tell you, is that there are some things that you're not going to be able to control. But this, as a head coach or head coaches, y'all can control this. Y'all can set that precedent. So hopefully, someone hears this and sits back and says, you know what? He's right. We should allow any kid that's in our program to use any of our equipment as long as they have good intentions, as long as they're doing it the right way. And you set guidelines to how you want to do it and let those kids get shots up. Because, in the end, it's only going to help your program. Because I can tell you right now, the kids who come to us, I'm not going to put their names out there. I know they probably be okay with me putting them out there, but I'm not going to do it. The kids that come to our program that get shots up during the season, they're shooting pretty good throughout the season. And I wasn't for it at first. I was kind of like, no, they need to rest. But I'm seeing the benefits of them coming and shooting for 30 minutes, once a week. Those shots are still getting up there. So hopefully this helps. And I'm really hoping that this gets out there because we need to do better. Yo, I like to give a shout out to my sponsors. Next Style Designs. Next Style Designs makes quality shirts or custom apparel for all occasions. Next Style Designs. Mind Inc. Mind Inc. offers a wide array of digital media. Mind Inc. asks, are you using your mind? Southwest Basketball Showcase Recruiting Service. The link between your coach and your dreams. Maracay Zero Down Solar. Call Greg Suber for your solar needs. PCS Plus is the carpet service for all your cleaning needs. Okay, all right. So, a couple of things I wanted to discuss real quick. Wanted to go over proper footwork. Now, what is proper footwork? Footwork is the foundation for any sport. No matter what sport you play, you have to have good footwork. And it is of the utmost necessity, or, it's very important, I guess. I'm here and I'm trying to come up with some SAT words today. So, but no, it's very important to have great footwork. In basketball, it's imperative. Okay. All right. So what is proper footwork? It's being able to make the steps you need to make and be decisive. So some things I do when it comes to footwork is I use the jump stop a lot. Now, do I force kids to use jump stop throughout their life? Absolutely not. But when I have kids who have poor footwork, I start with the jump stop. And this allows them to get better balance, keep them from taking extra steps. So, you want to have good footwork in the game of basketball. You need to be able to jump stop, go off 1-2 with your layups, jump stop and then use your pivot foot so you can, make your move and get past your defender. Proper footwork is key. So you must work on your footwork. You do a series of hops. You can work on taking 2 steps when you're working on your layups. So you just go 1-2. And if you're working on your right hand, you start with your right foot back, right, left, and go up and shoot. Okay. You can also do a hop and go up and shoot a layup. So there are many different ways. Ladder drills, work on the speed. Now, It's good to do a lot of different speed drills. That's fine. It's no problem with doing that. The issue with just doing speed drills is you have to make sure that they translate in that sport. Doing a lot of fast speed drills and you're playing baseball and you're a catcher, and it might not work out as much because catchers in baseball, aren't known to have really good footwork. They got to have great hand-eye coordination, though, to catch the ball, see the pitch coming, understand what kind of pitch, because a slider is different from a changeup. Oh, yeah. Your boy knows some stuff about different sports now, so don't get me started. I can talk about other sports, but basketball is my love. So proper footwork, needs to apply to that sport. So I always really try to work on those different things, because if you don't, you're going to find yourself traveling. You're going to find yourself out of position. You're going to find yourself, if you're coming over a curl or flaring out or different things, you won't be in the position to where once you catch or receive the ball, you can make the move that you need to make. It's going to feel awkward because you're not in the right position. So you need to make sure that you're working on proper footwork. And we have a ton of those different things. So, you can always come and see us, and, we'll get you right with those. So the one thing I wanted to discuss is really a question. Do you guys feel like parents are too involved in the process of sports with their kids at any age level? Now, there are some that are really heavily involved with their kids once their kids are playing professional, right? You don't see it as much, and it doesn't affect things nowhere as much when it comes to professional, because organizations run those teams and they don't play that. It doesn't really rear its head as much with not high school, but in college. But there are some situations. Now with the portal, if a parent doesn't feel like, their son or daughter is not getting what they thought they were going to get, they can, encourage their child to go enter the portal and go to another school. Now, once kids get into high school and going definitely to college, they really tend to have more of a say. So how involved should parents be? I think me personally, this is my 2 cents. I feel like parents should be involved from a supportive standpoint. Not much hands-on. I'm going to give you the tools you need, but you're going to have to get out there and work to become better. But oftentimes now, parents are spending a great deal of money on things like teams, on training, so they want that return. I often tell parents and kids sometimes, look, your parents like an investor. So you have to do your part to get better, because they want to see a return on their investment at some point. Now, how does it work? What steps should a parent take when it comes to being supportive? For me, the perfect scenario would just be, motivation, good motivation. You watching your kid, you tell them, hey, good job, keep working, good things are going to happen. When you go to their games, you cheer for them. You don't get into it with other kids and other kids' parents. And, after the game, hey, good job, I'm proud of you. Now, this doesn't mean that you coddle them. So like if your kid is not performing or not giving effort, that's the biggest thing that all parents always tell me. You know what? I can deal with missed shots, making mistakes, but I can't deal with you not giving effort. If you're going to play, you need to give effort. And I second that. No, I don't second it. I co-sign that. I co-sign that 100, right? Or 1,000, because you can't play sports and not give effort. That's going to be something that's seen really quick. So if a parent's getting on you for not giving effort and hustling and stuff, I'm perfectly great with that, because that's what, parents should be doing it. But then it's the other stuff that I often hear where parents are coaches, and this is on the lower levels, they're coaches, and it's very disparaging to other teams and other kids of other teams. Some parents, I've actually heard parents in the stands when I've went to games, and you hear them saying, push them back, hit them, don't let yourself, don't allow them to push you. You push back, and you make sure you hurt them. And it's like, well, why not just say, hey, just stand strong, be firm. But when you're kind of barking those instructions out, kids are going to listen to their parents. No matter what, kids are going to listen to their parents. So when you're giving them those instructions, what do you think the kid's going to do? And then other parents hear it, and they're going to tell their kids to push back and do what you're trying to do. And oftentimes you have over aggressive play that leads to incidents, kids getting hurt, parents getting into it. And then the funniest thing is, you guys do know the referee is standing there and they're listening. So they're watching. And if they see that kid does anything remotely close to what they just heard their parents say, that's a foul, or it's a technical, or maybe you're ejected. So you have to make sure that you are part of the process, but in a positive way. I'm not one of these, hey, everybody gets everybody gets to play and everybody has to be, this whole, what do they call it? Participation thing. That's not what I'm saying. You need to be firm when you need to be firm. But some parents are too involved in the process. They want to talk to the coach. They want to know why their kid isn't playing. When it comes to like high school sports, I'm not going to say it's your right to find out. Obviously, there are things that there's so many layers. So when I'm speaking of this, it's a little bit more in general, because I know certain situations where there are kids that are dominant, and that coach has this 80s old school mentality. So that coach doesn't want to allow that kid to play. He wants it done his way, right? So if this kid's not doing his way, he's going to get in his feelings and, try to keep him from cut his minutes is what a lot of these coaches will do. So some of that stuff I get. What I'm purely talking about is when these kids are when they're starting to play, you can't be arguing with other parents. You can't at the game. You can't be talking about other parents and the coaches in front of the kids. The kids are going to hear that stuff. Keep the adult stuff with adults. If you're going to talk and you're going to talk bad and disparaging about, the coach or other player, at least have your kids to go somewhere else so they can't hear. But when you talk to them and you talk about somebody right there, those kids are going to have that same, energy about that other parent or that other coach or anything like that. Now, the pay for play, which is what I call it with the city leagues and stuff, and even the AAU leagues, I call them, they're pay for play, meaning parents pay money and, their kids are supposed to play. Sometimes the parents are done wrong simply because they're kind of told one thing, but then something else happens, right? So it's interesting, and it's a lot of layers. I'd have to just break everything down and go step by step. But all in all, my thing is you need to be not part of the problem. You need to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. You should be there to cheer your kids on and just be proud of them like parents are. That's what we should be doing as parents. When I go to watch games, nobody knows I'm there, especially the kid I'm going there to watch and evaluate. I don't do all of that yelling and trying to tell them what to do. I don't even want them to know I'm there because I don't want them to be nervous, right? But I have to be part of the process in allowing them to be able to, now after I've seen them, when they come back in, then I'll go over stuff and just ask them questions and see how we can get better as a player. But I'm not going in there saying, what are you doing, coach? You need to play this kid and stuff like that. I try to stay out of that. There are situations where, I do have to make difficult conversations with parents saying, you might need to look at doing this, or we can work around this program and still get you the results, try to get you the results you seek. But all in all, if you guys don't hear anything else I'm saying from this part of the conversation, you really need to understand this youth sports thing is getting out of hand. And it's because the parents are a lot more involved in the process. Granted, they put money in. But if you don't trust the program that you put your kid in, you need to either start your own program or put your kid in a different program. But a lot of this stuff, I think they're going to be sweeping changes when it comes to different associations because people are getting killed now. There's a referee shortage and all of that. So I really think everybody needs to slow down and get outside of yourself and look and see what it is that you're doing. And then ask yourself, like, damn, is that really me? Am I really that bad? And see if you can make a change. It's never too late. Okay, bonus content. All right, this is for all my Patreon people. If you're not part of my Patreon, you need to sign up for our Patreon because I'm going to have different content on my Patreon. Right, this is right now. This is for everybody, but I have other stuff that I'm going to be doing. So on my Patreon version, I'm going to be discussing Ben Simmons returning to Philly. That's going to be fascinating to see what happens, how he takes it. He started playing good. So we'll discuss that. Also, I want to talk about the top shooting guards with handles. I've had this discussion with people before about how some guards can play. They don't have handles. Apparently, these are people who don't really know basketball because they've said, oh, this guy doesn't have handles. And I'm like, man, what the hell are you talking about? It's crazy. So that's a discussion I'm going to have on my bonus content. I'm going to talk about driving to the basket with aggressiveness. Another topic is making varsity but not playing, because you have a lot of kids who get on the team as freshmen and then they go play varsity as freshmen or sophomores, and they're pretty good, but they don't see the court. So that's one thing. I'll get into my things I heard growing up but didn't know what it meant at the time discussion, as well as a story about punishment. What is a punishment? Is talk about something that I did that happened to me in my childhood that was just absolutely crazy. Crazier than me getting my butt whooped when I was being a bad kid, as they say. So that, and now I've actually started my top 5 criteria. What I've done is I've gotten feedback from different people, and I've actually formed criteria. So I want to share that criteria and see what people think about it. So we can pick and settle in on a few, and now we can start choosing the players, because most of these top 5 all-time stuff is really subjective. With this will be more definitive, because we'll have different criteria that they have to go on in order to be on there. Okay. So hopefully you guys could all join in and come and visit me on the Patreon version, where I have a lot of different stuff going on, a lot of little clips and videos, stuff of me doing certain drills that you can see. You can interact with me on different levels of the Patreon. So really take a look at it. Give yourself an opportunity to see if it's something that you want to do. Now, at the end of this video, I'll have my Twitter handle, Instagram handle, Facebook handle, if that's what they call them. I don't know if that's what they call them. But watch to the end of the video so you can see how to follow me and keep up with me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, because I interact with people a lot on those different platforms. So I want you to be able to holler at me and send me a message, or, thumbs up, hopefully. If it's a thumbs down, I guess, that's what it is. But all in all, I enjoyed this. I really feel that this was something that I needed to talk about with the coaches as well as with the parents. I'll have more content coming. But as always, as I end every conversation, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. Happy Thanksgiving.